if you can guess what I do for a living? Would it help if I told you that I grew up in the old concrete jungle? Or that a boyfriend once told all of his friends that I was a stripper before I met them all for the first time, and nobody questioned it? My point is, you would have made a decision about who I am, and even maybe about what I do based on how I look. I'm actually a personal trainer. I know, I don't look like one. But let me take you back to 10 years ago. I looked in the mirror one day and decided that it was my body that was the problem. If only I could just lose weight, then my life would be better. If only I could just eat less and move more, then I would finally stop crying. How many of you have believed that life will be better if only you just looked differently? How many of you have judged and criticised or even avoided the reflection in your mirror because of how your body looks? Lots of nods. But what if the mirror's not the problem? What if the scales doesn't get to decide your worth? Instead, what if it's the stories that you have been told about your body that are the real reason you stopped liking who you are? So if we learnt these stories, where did we learn them from? Well, we aren't born with this inner self-loathing for our arms, our legs, our tummies, or our noses. They're little snippets of stories shared with you throughout your entire life. From loving parents who want nice school photos, but also don't want you to show your teeth. From grandparents who made it quite clear that how you look and how you present yourself is how you will find love. Uncles saying you need more meat on your bones if you're going to be a man. And aunties sharing their own body image problems and gossiping about other people's bodies. Friends, boyfriends and girlfriends and all the rejections that come with it all create stories about who we are and who we should be. Growing up in the 90s when supermodels were the ideal. And teen magazines telling girls how to change their bodies so they can get all the boys chasing them, whilst also reminding them that they don't look like all the girls who get all the boys chasing them. Be skinny like Posh, but don't you dare look like Ginger Spice. And Bridget Jones, no thank you. In the 90s, boys mostly escaped this messaging. And your biggest question in life was, will I ever get laid? Today, however, the message is quite clear. Increase your muscle mass by any means necessary so you can look like a man who can protect your woman. Our society praises certain body types. Be skinny, but not too skinny. Be curvy, not fat though. Be pretty, but not too pretty. Be muscly, but don't look like you've skipped leg day. And grow a beard, look like a Viking, but don't look homeless. We have absorbed every message and every comment over our entire life, and we have repeated them silently to ourselves. We have learned to see ourselves not through our own eyes, but through the eyes of a world that profits from our insecurities. Now, you might think that these messages just bounce off us. They don't. They settle in, and they quietly shape who we are. We are people who no longer smile in photos. We cover up our bodies at Stokes Bay. We create eating habits that are unhelpful, too much, too little, or we cycle in between them both. Some of us over-exercise because everything has to be just right. And because we have two of the not so unspoken rules within our industry: no pain, no gain, and go hard or go home. And then some of us under-exercise because we are embarrassed by how our body looks and how it moves. And let's be honest, some gyms aren't exactly the most welcoming of places for us. We check ourselves in the mirror every chance we get to make sure everything is still perfect, or to make sure everything is still hidden. We have shrunk our lives because we don't want to be noticed. We hold back dating and speaking up and swimming with our children, all because we have one belief, that our body should look a certain way before we are allowed to live our best lives. So to solve my sadness, I chose weight loss. After all, I believed that my life was so awful because I was so fat. I mean, it couldn't possibly have been a body full of unruly hormones because I had just had a baby, right? So I chose exercise. And I would cry in the car park before boot camp because I couldn't bear the idea of people seeing me move. And I would walk in the gym at 6 a.m. and I would walk straight back out again because I didn't belong. But I kept on going. But I kept on going. And because I'm stubborn and I refused to accept that the weights room was a man's only space, reminding myself each time that I belonged here, that I was allowed to take up this space. And I began to notice what my body was capable of. Felt better in my head, and I felt better in my body. But my body hadn't changed. How I was thinking about my body had changed. The story that I was telling myself about my body needed to be different. The script that I was repeating, I'm too fat, sucked all joy out of my life. But these stories can be changed because you are the author of your lives and you get to choose your stories. And if we get to choose our stories, isn't it better that we choose words that help us and not harm us? So how do we do that? So I have 3 reframes for you that will help get you started. Reframe 1, notice. Notice what it says to you. Like, our brain likes to run on autopilot and we just allow it to run the show. But allowing your brain to just keep running these borrowed stories over and over is just unhelpful for you at best. So notice what it says to you. Like, look at this belly, it's so disgusting. And I'll feel confident once I lose another stone. I can't wear shorts, my legs are too wobbly, too skinny, too short. And look at this picture. I feel so disappointed with myself. But I want you to notice whose voice is behind that thought. And you might want to say, mine, because I do look right in this dress. But if you dig deeper, then you'll notice that it came from somewhere else. Someone, somewhere, planted that idea. And maybe it was from a teacher, from comments that you overheard, magazines, social media, some random off the street. And that became your inner voice. And that's how we end up with stories like, I can't wear that because of my body, or boldness makes me look old. But these aren't truths. They are borrowed stories. But every time you repeat them, you reinforce them as truth. But you don't have to keep believing them. The story that you have that you can't wear a swimsuit because of your body isn't fact. It's a story that you have picked up from somewhere that tells you that your body is not acceptable in a swimsuit. That does not make it true. You can choose to believe that your body is perfectly fine in a swimsuit, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. And you can choose to embrace the bald head because, yes, it is sexy. You are allowed to believe anything you want about your body. even if it's not what you've been told you should believe. Reframe number 2, ditch the shoulds. Health does not just look like society's version of it. Move because it feels good. Dare I say it, even fun, because it's energizing, or just because it's good for your mental well-being. Eat nourishing foods, and foods just for joy, because eating is a big part of the human experience. And rest and look after yourself, because you are important too. And buy clothes that fit you now, because you deserve to be happy and comfortable in clothes now, not when that magic number says it's time. And be brave and shave the head now, and because only you get to define how you look. And finally, reframe number 3, surround yourself with news stories. Social media has its impact on us because we compare ourselves to other people. But you get to curate your news feed. So follow people who make you feel good about you and delete those that don't. Find people who look like you, doing the things that you want to be doing, and proving that life is here for you now, not just for those other people or when the scales says it's time. Your joyful life starts when you stop trying to be different and start seeing yourself differently. I now see my body as a story. My scars are part of my life story. My belly from carrying 2 beautiful babies that I was told that I could not have. My legs have carried me through growing up in Rounder. The trauma, but the travelling and playing with my children and standing here when I really, really want to run away. Of course, my brain still loves to point out my flaws, but I also see somebody who shows up in the world that loves to remind me that I should not look like this as a personal trainer, and who continues to rewrite those outdated, borrowed stories. So I'll leave you with one final question. What story is still shaping you? And are you ready to rewrite a new one? I'm going to curtsy now.